Good evening, all my podcast listeners all over the world. Even if you aren't tuning in to Birds of a Feather, shout out to you, because now hopefully you will tune into my show, because I, as a female, decided this is a great time to write a Dear John letter, except it won't be to John, it will be to a Cameron Newton. Hey, what's up? It's your girl AJ, the Suburban Princess. I suddenly felt moved this week. I don't know if it's the full moon this week. I don't know what the heck is going on, because none of these things that have developed in the news, whether it be sports related or politics, has shocked me. But for some reason, I felt compelled to write a Dear John letter to someone who I don't know, and I don't know whose history, as far as these type of comments. But I just felt annoyed, and I just felt like it's one of those things that in this day and age, you would think that women have a lot more importance, if not a lot more respect, from their fellow peers as well as athletes themselves, to ask a simple question at a press conference without being laughed at. Now, mind you, I understand men's way of blowing us off as females when it comes to sports, but it's gotten to the point now where it's getting ridiculous. I mean, there are other things in the world that you could be blowing off. If that's someone's profession and that's what you're dealing with on a daily basis, it shouldn't be funny to hear any female ask a question. Now, mind you, if there's more to this story that develops by the end of the week, I will definitely speak on it, especially after hopefully the Birds will win playing the Cardinals this weekend. But I just felt compelled to share my thoughts in a letter. So you know the situation. Google Cameron Newton. You know what he said in the press conference. You know the female reporter and all the gossip about her. Not that it matters at this point. But as a female, I think you should all feel the need to pay attention to a letter like this, and feel the next time that you feel disrespected by any kind of male in any kind of form or fashion, you should feel the need to stick up in such a way. Maybe throw out the letter, maybe it'll help you mentally, or just stick up for yourself and just tell them to get the freak out your face. So with no further ado, I decided to read this out loud, not only to myself, but to my fellow Birds of a Feather podcast listeners. And anyone else who catches this. Hey, what's up? How you doing? Anyway, on to my letter. Dear Cameron, my brother, you are quite a find. Tall, dark, handsome, and yet a huge disappointment. How do you manage being a pretty well-liked athlete with a sexist, ignorant tongue? It's annoying how you repeatedly put yourself out there in a negative light with no help at all. It wasn't enough how your immature stance after the loss in the Super Bowl. You have to echo the sentiments of probably a whole lot of men in the sports world, unfortunately, by giving a snicker to a female doing her job. Would you have preferred her ask, "Where is your loud-ass suit today?" Since you like to floss like the character from Monopoly every press conference in your attempt to be different. Granted, I understand your entitlement and your all lives matter stance, even if that alone was a dumb sentiment in the times that we are in, but I think it's time you actually look yourself in the mirror and stop grinning. How about look at your future children and ask them, do they want to be labeled as entitled brats automatically when it's revealed that they are related to you? Don't you want to be the superhero you act like you are after running in a touchdown? Don't you want to avoid being asked how you ran your version of an escape route away from the ball that cost you and your team a Super Bowl? Don't you wish that your inflated dreams would actually seem vindicated as opposed to scoffed at by rich pockets that sign your checks? You think they want to keep your pockets fat after that huge loss? Women who love sports and love our dedicated athletes, as opposed to puppets who want to floss after 1 year of college, really are tired of seeing good brothers become another joke in the media. You, unfortunately, are slowly dropping to a level of douchebaggery that is beyond repair. The fact that you know you messed up is what makes it even more sad. The fact that you actually thought flashing your pearly whites at the female as she asked you a football-related question instead of flashing a body part should empower you and not amuse you. I don't even know this reporter's resume, but do I need to know it as a fan? Watching that clip made me wish someone slapped you upside your head and say, "You dumbass, go apologize." Even if you do out of corporate obligation or decide to defend it by laughing it off again, is irrelevant now. Just know that any endorsements you lose is not what I wish for you. I just want you to be mindful before you speak at a press conference. Better yet, just don't do it, since you obviously have an attitude towards any press conferences. Save yourself and us fans the drama, and keep to yourself like a Marshawn Lynch tries to do in this camera-obsessed world. Sincerely, AJ, the black female who loves sports. And I would just like to add that Cameron and his team will be playing the Eagles next Thursday, and hopefully we'll get their asses kicked, especially because their tight end, Greg Olsen, is not playing right now. So as much as I do love Kelvin Benjamin because he's FSU, no, I really don't care what happens with the Panthers next week. They are the enemy. And Cam, as much as I love to look at your fine face, I can't help but just look at you and say, you're a brat, you're a disappointment, you're a wonk wonk, and I'm just sick and tired of seeing your face at this point because you're just basically a hypocrite, you know? Trying to be number one, trying to be the best, that's great and good, but you still have to win a Super Bowl to be the best, and you haven't done that. So until then, peace out, Cam. Shout out to all my ladies out there who love sports, and shout out to all those who have been upstaged or degraded or demeaned on any kind of level by a man. Just know at the end of the day, he wouldn't be here if it wasn't for us. So look at it this way. We're all blessed to speak our minds like I do on this podcast. And I will return again for another version after the Eagles beat the Cardinals this weekend. Until then, peace out, Bird Gang for life.